Welcome back to another episode of Day by Day with PJ. A little bit different of an episode today. We are going to be doing a question and answer episode where we just not ask questions, we're going to answer questions. We're not just going to ask you questions the whole time. We're going to answer questions that you guys have sent in on my Instagram. So let's get started. So we had a lot of questions come in through Instagram. Just did like Instagram ask a question thing and compiled a bunch of them. Some were similar, some were very different, but we're going to answer as many as we can within a reasonable amount of time.
We're going to talk until we feel like we've been talking too long.
Yeah, we don't just want this to be like us talking forever, but we want you to know a little bit more about us. So the best way to start is going to be like introduce ourselves a little bit. So one of the questions we got was, where did we go to high school and college? So I'll just start and then you go.
Okay.
So I went to high school at Westchester Academy for 2 years, my freshman and sophomore year, and then I transferred to Northwest, best of the N schools. I just better than Northern really, but yeah, went to Northwest, and then I spent a semester at UNCG and transferred to Appalachian State where I graduated.
He moved around a lot. My story is not as entertaining. I went to Page High School, which is another high school here in Greensboro. It's actually one of the second oldest schools in the city, which is cool, I guess. And then I went to Appalachian State, and that is also where I graduated.
Our next question will be a good one. So tell us about your love story / how did you start dating in that realm of things. So we haven't talked about our answers to these questions whatsoever.
Yeah, I read these in the car ride here.
You're just gonna hear a lot of stuff about us. We first really met each other and like knew of each other's existence, I would say. We were on the same so we have a trip called Project Serve, so we were in the same work group, which is like a group of like 9 to 11 students, and we met doing work in Mississippi, Gulfport, Mississippi, and then after that I was pretty much like instantly in love and was like, yeah, I'm gonna marry that girl. Renee was a little more not so sure about me in general.
In case you guys haven't noticed, he's a real weird guy. He was a real weird kid.
It's true.
But I knew that I enjoyed spending time with you, and I knew that I enjoyed talking to you and that whole aspect. So I wasn't completely averse to him. I just wasn't sure about dating.
You did give me the wrong phone number,
which I maintain was an accident.
We really got to know each other. We got to know each other on the trip, but then we came back, and like the only way we really talked to each other was on Facebook message. And I saved them all. I was smart enough to do that so that you guys, if you ever want to see it, just talk to me. I'll show you something.
Throwing it way back.
Way back. So after that, we went on like a date. I would say like our first date was that summer after we got back from Project Serve. And then like things just didn't really we went back to schools at different schools, and and we didn't really I started going to a public school, so things were different, and we stayed friends. We still talked to each other.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we hated each other, but
we
it just
had different friend groups at church too.
Yeah.
So we went to different high schools, and then we were obviously still both going to the same youth group, but we had completely different friend groups.
Yeah.
So our paths really didn't cross by accident.
After that, we just kind of went our separate ways for most of junior year, I'd say. For a little bit of junior year, we dated though. Yeah, we did the thing.
We'd talk, and then we'd stop talking.
Yeah.
And then we'd talk, and we'd date a little bit, and then we'd break up, and then we'd start talking, and
we dated right around Valentine's Day, and I remember I lied to you on Valentine's Day and told you that I was sick, but I wasn't actually sick. I just wanted to hang out with my guy friends.
Oh, the lie was larger than that. You told me that you had to work and then had to go home sick.
Oh yeah. That was not a good.
I found out about this lie roughly a year and a half ago.
It's a bad idea. And yeah, so you found out about it more than a year and a half ago.
I knew you had lied. I didn't find out about the extent of the lie until we were definitely married, because your mom brought it up.
Yeah.
And you were like,
to be
yeah.
fair, I had just gotten out of another relationship, and that was just a bad relationship. The girl that I was dating was very clingy, and I didn't want that to happen again, so I was very standoffish. Just, that time that we dated for 3 weeks in junior year, I don't really count, because it was like, we were still trying to learn how to date. I was your first boyfriend.
Yeah.
You were my second girlfriend, so we were still trying to learn each other, learn who we were.
Really, the root of the matter, here it is. Don't date in high school.
Yeah.
Or at least, like, early high school.
Yeah, it's not good.
No, you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're still trying to figure out how to even be a good friend, let alone figure out how to be a good dating partner. So, just don't do it.
Then, like, things were, like, we, like, again, still kind of, like, talked. We liked each other still. Like, I don't think we ever stopped, like, I never stopped liking you, but I don't know.
I never stopped liking you. I was frustrated with you and stuff, but I never stopped, like, I was never, like, I hate him, I'm never speaking to him again. Even though I did the majority of the breaking up, it was never because I hated him, it's just because we were unhappy.
Yeah. So then, our senior year, we started dating again. Like, it was actually 10 years ago to pretty, like, soon. It was on the 17th. Yeah, we started dating. No, we started dating on the 20th of March. Of 2009. So we started dating then, and that's when I really, like, say that we started dating, because we pretty much dated there. We broke up once, but that was our senior year, so we dated most of our senior year, or that last part of our senior year, and then we went to college. I went to UNCG. You went to App. So we did long distance for a little bit. During that time, we broke up for like 3 weeks or so. So I just insert the 3 weeks that we dated junior year into that, and then it's just continuous, right? So we dated throughout college. And pretty much right after college, we got married. You graduated a semester early.
Yeah, so he proposed. So we had talked about the fact that we knew we wanted to get married. And then the weekend of my 21st birthday, we went.
No, it was your 20th birthday.
It was the weekend of my 21st birthday, and PJ was like, hey, for your birthday, let's go, like, take the Parkway to the lake house. His family has a lake house in Smith Mountain Lake. And to be honest, I was kind of hesitant, because it was the weekend of my 21st birthday, and all my friends were at school, and I wanted to, like, celebrate with all of them. But he had planned the whole thing, and it was his idea, and I had learned that when the person you love plans something from start to finish, you go along with it, because it takes time and effort, and honestly, people don't do that very often.
And it's probably because they're going to propose to you.
So I didn't, okay. So I'm notoriously oblivious. I went on an accidental date my freshman year of college. Swear, didn't realize it was a date until he offered me his jacket and then offered to pay for dinner.
And then tried to kiss you.
And then tried to kiss me goodbye. And I was like, oh shoot, I have made a terrible mistake.
I was on a camping trip the whole time.
You were out in the wilderness, and I was just making mistakes.
That's why I never go camping anymore.
I don't think that's fine. Took the Parkway. And I had not considered that he was going to propose until one of my roommates, before I left, was like, do you think he's going to propose? And then I was like, oh, no, I don't think so. Because we had talked about, like, October, November, my birthday's in September. But that sticks in your head. You don't forget. So don't mention to your friend casually, do you think he's going to propose? Because it's really going to throw her off. So don't do it. Just don't do it. So get to the lake house.
Also, guys, don't, like, if you're going to propose, don't trap yourself in a car with the person you're going to propose to for what seemed like an eternity. It did take a really long, it was like 7 hours.
It was a very long time.
And, like, I had coordinated with your family and my family to both be up at the lake house. So, like, I had a deadline that I had to get there. I'm, like, sitting next to you. Luckily I didn't have the ring in my, like, in the car. I was like, no. I had my mom bring it to the lake house. And so it was just like, it was torture the whole time, because I'm like, I'm gonna propose to you, but I can't tell you that. Like, just don't do it. Like, just do it quickly. Like, be with the person for like 2 minutes right before you propose, and then just propose, because it's torture.
He's also the worst secret keeper on the planet. If it's for, like, somebody that he cares about and he's excited about it, Which
is truthfully why we got engaged, because, like, I had bought the ring in, I think, August. I was like, and we had talked about November, December, somewhere in there, maybe getting engaged, because that was around the time you were graduating. And I couldn't wait. Like, I had it, and I was like, I know, I'm just gonna ruin the secret if I don't. So that's why we got engaged so early.
It's a cute story.
Yeah. But anyway, so we were engaged. We got engaged September. We got married the following July, and got married in High Point. You saw it in one of the vlogs where we got married down in High Point.
Oh,
yeah. We drove by.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was in
married,
2013.
yep.
So we've been married a little over 5 years. Crazy. So I think a follow-up to that would be, when are we having babies?
Well, it's none of your business.
That's true. But probably
we love
at
you
some
for
point.
asking.
Probably at some point we'll have kids. Right now, we like the lifestyle that we're living.
We're very accustomed to our current lifestyle.
Yeah. Like, we have Wembley, so that's fine for us right now. This was we got a few of these questions, so I'm going to lump them all in together. So, dream vacation / if you could go anywhere, where would it be / what's your favorite place to go to other than Disney? We'll take Disney out of the equation if you know me at all, and now Renee by extension. We love Disney.
How you're going to answer this question?
I know. Like,
wait,
pretty
but
much.
Wait. Okay. Are you taking all of Disney out of the equation, or just the
That's
Disney we've been to?
That's the hard part. I'm going to take all of Disney out of the equation out right now.
Do you want to give them a brief rundown that you do want to go to all the Disney parks?
I want to do a trip where I go to all the Disney parks around the world, because there's one in Shanghai, one in Hong Kong, one in Tokyo. There's two in Tokyo. There's one in there's two in Paris. There's one on the West Coast and one on the East Coast. I want to go to all of them. I've been to Disneyland once and been to Disney World a lot of times, but I haven't been to any of the other ones. So yes, I want to go to all those places, and that's why like a majority of like Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Tokyo are in my I want to travel to place. I said that really fast so that we get through it.
Well, one place we've talked about wanting to travel together is actually Thailand.
Yeah.
We mentioned our dear friends Mindy and Josh in the last vlog. They're going to really appreciate. We've now given them a shout out in two in a row. But we really want to go to Thailand. We actually started watching these vloggers, Kara and Nate, and they spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
And
we pretty much just want to go everywhere that they've gone, because it looks, except for like there's a couple places where we don't want to go because it just isn't our style. But
Thailand looks amazing. We think the food looks wonderful. Chiang Mai specifically is a city that we'd like to go to. So that's somewhere that we definitely both want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, like anywhere that I'm outside of my usual culture, my usual day-to-day routine, I don't really care where it's at, as long as I have a good travel buddy, which is you usually, and like a fun place to explore. That's what I am gonna love to do. But yeah, I think Thailand is a big one that's up there for me. And then like South America, seeing a lot of that like through vlogs. Looks amazing. So another question is, where have you traveled to / been / what countries have you been to?
So I have traveled to Japan, London, Paris. Is that everywhere by myself, like without you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that's everywhere I've been without him, and so I want to explore more of Europe. I'd like to spend more time in Paris. I was there for maybe 24 hours. I'd love to go to Italy, but not so much Rome, but kind of more the hill country, the wine country.
Yeah. So one of the places I've been to is Italy. So I've been to Italy, England on choir trips. England, Wales, Ireland was a choir trip, and then Italy was a choir trip. And they are both places I really love. My family is from Italy. Like my grandfather immigrated through Ellis Island from Italy, was born in Venice. So it's a place that I love just because I have a history there, and I feel like I'm part of the culture of that, which I'm really not. But
so within the United States, I've also been to San Francisco, Portland, Oregon. I've now been to Oklahoma. Went there on a work trip.
Where the wind comes sweeping down the plains.
It was quite windy.
Yeah.
So windy.
That's where
so
the song
many
came
windmills.
from.
I didn't know it was so accurate. It is.
I've been to a lot of places too. I've lived in a lot of places. So I was born in Chicago and grew up like moving around a lot. So lived in California, in the San Francisco area, lived in St. Louis, and lived in Chicago area, and then moved here. So.
Oh, I forgot. I lived in Germany for the first 2 years of my life. My father was in the Army, and so my mom and I were there for the first 2 years of my life.
Your father? That was such a...
Very formal.
Yeah, obviously you grew up in Germany, so I feel like we answered all those places. We'll have another question and answer just about Disney related.
Yeah.
So spoilers, we have a trip coming up. I won't tell you when, but we have a trip coming up soon-ish. So we will answer some questions, maybe even while we're there, or like after we get back, we'll answer all the questions that you can have about Disney. All right, so another question that we got asked is our favorite food place. It was a very broad question. And
very broad.
Again, I'm going to take Disney out of it because my favorite places to eat are at Disney.
It's true.
So we'll answer those in another vlog. But let's take Greensboro, our favorite place in Greensboro to eat.
Okay. See, this is one that we should have discussed beforehand.
Yeah.
When I first read this question, what's my favorite place to eat in Greensboro? The first place I thought of was Crafted, Art of the Taco. I love Mexican food, and Crafted's kind of bougie Mexican food. I like the vibe. I think the tacos are really good. So that's the first place I thought of. I don't know that I would necessarily say that's my favorite place.
Yeah.
But it is the first place that popped in my head.
Yeah. So mine, I think you saw it in the vlog yesterday, but it was Sushi Republic has quickly become my new favorite place. I'd never been there. Probably, I went there for the first time like 4 weeks ago maybe.
That's good.
Never had it before. It is so good. I love sushi, so it's like I think the best sushi place in Greensboro. But I have other places. Phoenix is one of them that I really love. That's like a classic staple go-to. But if I could go anywhere right now, I'd go to Sushi Republic. I think the last two questions are ministry related, which I love because ministry plays a big part in both of our lives. So we're both involved in the Fuse ministry. Obviously, I work at Fuse and Impact. You are a small group leader with Fuse, not Impact. I get them confused all day long.
Yeah, I have a small group of now senior girls. You have, some of them have been on the vlog.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had them since they were freshmen, and me and a dear friend, Susie, have led them together, and it's been really wonderful. I love them. They're my friends.
So the first question is, why did we want to work with middle school and high school? So for me, middle school and high school, yours is just going to be high school because you don't work with middle school.
So I started working with high school ministry, obviously, through PJ. So when we moved back to Greensboro after graduating, he kind of just got back involved volunteering with high school ministry. And I would go occasionally, but I really wasn't involved. And then you started working there and said, hey, we need small group leaders for freshmen. If I found you someone to lead with, would you do it? And I sort of thought it would just fizzle, so I said, yeah, probably. Like, I wasn't extremely opposed to it, but it wasn't something that I was on fire about. And he found me someone to lead with. I
actually already had someone that you were going to lead with.
So he already had found me someone to lead with.
I just needed you to say yes to that.
Yeah. And I mean, it's ended up being wonderful. So that's sort of how I found my way back into it.
So for me, I think like growing up in the youth group, I've been at Westover since I was in second grade. So I've just grown up here and seen the influence that it's had on my life. Obviously, it's where I met you, where I grew in my relationship with Christ, and just really like grew as a person in general. So I wanted to be a part of that in some capacity, and that's when I started volunteering, just doing the worship team, and then that grew into a part-time position with just high school, and through that I got to know our middle school team really well and some of our middle schoolers, and was able to have an opportunity to then work in middle school, and yeah, just kind of pouring back into something that poured so much into me, and getting to, I don't know, like it's the reason that I do these vlogs as well, just wanting to live life alongside of our students, and just show them what it's like to grow up and be a Christian in our world. I think that's something that you can't you can't create it. It's just got to happen naturally, and just living life alongside of you guys is what I like to do. So our last question that we have is, what is your favorite experience as a Fuse leader? I'll let you go first.
Okay, so I kind of misread this question, so I kind of have two answers. But my favorite experience as a Fuse leader is being a small group leader. It's also the only way I'm a leader. But it's just been amazing. I did not expect to grow as much as I did through the experience, and I have the wisest, funniest, sweetest group of girls, and I mean, I love them with all my heart, and getting to walk with them for the past 4 years has been amazing. I mean, I figured if I could give them one nugget of wisdom, then I'd be good. I'd have helped them, but it's been so much more than that.
Yeah. I'd say my favorite experience is very similar. I don't have a small group, so it's a little different, but I gotten to know students just through being able to work and leading trips and doing all that kind of stuff, and just getting to live alongside of students, live in the trenches with them of everyday life, and show them that like the Christian life is not like this. Sometimes we just have such a like image of like a Louis Giglio or like someone that's like a pillar of the faith, and we're like, oh, they lived such a life that, like, I'm sure if we saw them in their day-to-day lives, like a lot of pressure would be taken off of us. So yeah. I think that's like, for me, that's a big thing, that I just want to live a life alongside students, a life that is glorifying Christ and is showing that in this world we can still live for Christ and live to pursue Him. I think that's been my favorite experience. Yeah. Definitely. I think definitely if we're talking experience as in trip, I know your answer and you know my answer, which is our Jamaica trip. It's during spring break, and it's amazing. Yeah, it's an awesome trip. We've done it the last 2 years together. This trip coming up will be my 5th trip, so I did it 2 years without you. Yeah. But it is the most amazing trip. It just getting to be outside your country and outside your comfort zone, outside of your own language. It's just such an amazing trip. I can't even describe like what the trip is like. If you've been on the trip, you know, and if you haven't, come on the trip next year, because it is worth every penny that you have to raise. It is just the best trip ever.
It's incredible.
If you want to know more, I'll link in the description my Jamaica vlogs, because I vlogged 3 years ago when we went to Jamaica, so you can see a little bit more about it. Don't judge my beard.
Oh gosh.
It was bad. Okay, I think we got through all our questions. Sorry if that was the longest that you've ever heard us talk, but I think this was a really fun video idea, just to let you guys get to know us a little bit more. And yeah, if you like this kind of video, please like this video so that we know that you like this kind of video, and ask questions in the comments below that we can answer during our next Q&A. Probably our next Q&A will be about Disney, so if you have Disney specific questions, definitely ask them in the comments below. And follow me on Instagram so that if you, when I do stuff like this, you'll see when I ask questions and you can get your questions asked. Thank you for everyone who sent in questions. That was very helpful to be able to answer things that you wanted to know about us. I think that's all that we've got. Without any further ado, the episode is over.
Bye.
Check 1, 2. The wind is something else.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
I know. My nose is running. I'm trying not to like.
No, I know. I had to itch my nose a minute ago.
Let's look at it this way. If you could, like, if you were gonna die tomorrow and you could go and eat one thing, I would eat as much dairy as I possibly could. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties. We filmed this whole video and then we forgot that the camera stops after 27 minutes. So that also means we talk for over 30 minutes. Whew. Every time that you say dear friend, because that's like the 3rd time you've said it now, I just picture like actual deer.
That's the 3rd time I've said it?
Yes, you say it a lot.
Oh. I'm old. I have a father and dear friends.
All the dear friends.
I'm really sorry. There were so many squirrels and birds, and so if I kept looking around like a crazy person.
Yeah. I kept looking at that forklift. Yeah, for some reason there's a forklift over here.
You kept looking at the forklift?
Yeah, it's just orange, and I think it kept gathering my attention. So if I kept looking like right there, I was looking at the forklift. Pack up the whole production room that we brought out here. Guys, look at this. So this was our setup. We had a microphone that we may or may not use the audio from because it was real windy. The forklift over there, and my computer just sitting on the thing over here.